The issue of immigration is something that once you see the issue, once you see the real problems, you can't unsee it. It's peeling back the layers of an onion, and it just gets worse and worse and worse. And obviously, we've been talking about illegal immigration. We could talk about that all damn day long. But another issue that we've been trying to tackle on this program and with my work out in the field with these H-1Bs is that, you see the H-1B fraud, you see the scams that exist where they create these bogus software companies to import a bunch of workers. But shockingly and sadly, that's only one piece of the puzzle with the legal immigration problems. There's another legal immigration backdoor that a lot of people are using, and it's our universities. It's like our own universities in America. Now, Steve Cortes has a new documentary out which is exposing this and why it is a problem. Here's some of that.
When you think of Central Illinois in the American heartland, you probably conjure up images of abundant, fertile farms, windswept plains, hardy Midwestern patriots. But unfortunately, you should also picture this.
一个大长传线，很拿到，可以上，直接打正了，直接打正，第一次超前之后直接打正，一次进攻，直接打正。
That's Illini football, broadcast in Mandarin Chinese, in the middle of America. Why? Because 6,000 Chinese nationals are enrolled at the University of Illinois. That's the second highest number in the country. And they're just one block of 300,000 Chinese nationals studying across America. Now, at first, we were told this would be a good thing. Cultural enrichment, global exposure, etc. And maybe it started that way. Back in 2000, the U of I had just 37 Chinese students. But now, our schools are overrun. And here's the truth. Foreign students are displacing American kids, plain and simple. Talented American high schoolers, I mean kids getting near perfect ACTs and SATs with 4.0 grade point averages in advanced placement classes. Those American academic stars, they're being denied spots at the public universities that their families have supported for generations. Why? Because these schools chase full tuition from wealthy international students, often recruited by professional firms.
Joining me now is Steve Cortes to discuss. Thank you for joining me, Steve.
You bet. Thanks for having me, Sarah. Appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. Steve, it feels like with all of the great work that you're doing and me looking into all of this H-1B stuff, you come away with it feeling like we are kind of the laughingstock of the globe at this point, that all of these other countries are just like, hey, we're just going to utilize and abuse their system and we're just going to take over.
Yeah. No, I'm sure there are times when some of the party bosses at the CCP's buildings in Beijing just laugh to themselves. They cannot believe how willingly the United States will act as a victim, will volunteer for victimhood at the hands of the Chinese Communist Party. And in this case, I think it's absolutely outrageous that our most selective universities, our top flagship public schools across the United States, are inundated with foreign students. I think way too many foreign students overall, but particularly awful, the Chinese Communist Party sending its princelings, hundreds of thousands of them per year, over here so that we can educate our enemies, so that many of them can spy on us and commit espionage. And we know that's happening. There have been charges and convictions already. And then take those skills that they learned at some of our top schools like University of Illinois and go back to Beijing so they can make our adversary more powerful, more wealthy, and better able to continue to take advantage of the United States. So I'm trying to expose this, as you are, and saying enough. Of course, illegal immigration is a scourge to this country, but even the way we're tolerating legal migration, including this student issue, is just inexcusable, and I think it needs to be exposed.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I also, on top of the very obvious security risk that you point out, like, gosh, what could possibly go wrong educating these Chinese nationals and sending them back to report to the CCP? I also have seen a few different headlines. I think it was the University of Michigan, where they're in these universities, they're bringing in like these biohazards. So that's a little bit alarming.
Yes. So at University of Michigan, so far, 3 Chinese nationals charged, arrested and charged in federal court with trying to bring agricultural bioweapons into the United States. They wanted to potentially poison our food supply. That's what some of these students are doing there. In Illinois, at the Illinois Institute of Technology, which is also a really good STEM school in the same state that I was profiling, a Chinese national was arrested and convicted for espionage. He's actually now back in China. He was so important to Beijing that they actually traded for him in a prisoner swap with the United States. But these are just some of the examples. So we know factually that some of them are spies and saboteurs. We know that it's dangerous. And I think we also know, though, in every single case, even if the young Chinese person comes here with the best of intentions, they are taking a spot. These slots are finite at these schools. They are taking a spot that should be going to a young American. And we pay for these schools. So why should we pay for the, quote, privilege of getting kicked in the teeth such that really excellent young students, young adults from places like Illinois cannot get in to their own university? We're paying for the school, and yet thousands and thousands of Chinese nationals are there taking those opportunities. They are stealing opportunities from Americans. That's in the best case scenario. In the worst case scenario, there's huge national security risks for our country.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, again, that's why I say we must be the laughing stock, that they're just like, they're paying for us to come over. Like, they're subsidizing colleges. The United States citizens are subsidizing colleges to just allow all of these foreign students to come here and take their own students, take their own children's spots. Like, it is so insulting and offensive. And we've just been tolerating it this whole time. And not only that, Steve, it's like, it's the housing. It's the jobs. I mean, I want my children to have a chance in this country. I want American children to come first. And I want to know that when my kids graduate college or high school or, you know, wherever they end up, that they're not going to have a spot taken from them by a foreign national. And on top of that, when they do grow up, I want them to be able to afford a home. And it just, it impacts every aspect of our lives. It is making it worse for the American citizen. And the really frustrating thing for me, Steve, and maybe you can give me some like glass half full, is that it doesn't feel like anyone in the federal government who is at the level where they could do something, whether it be USCIS, Congress, whoever it may be, it doesn't feel like they see the concerns that the average everyday American sees.
No, unfortunately, you're right, and I'm not going to reassure you because it is bad. but what I would also say, Sarah, though, what's important is that we expose it, that you continue to do the important work you're doing on your show, that I make documentaries like this. I will tell you this, the reaction so far, both online as well as just live, talking to people, the reaction has been absolute outrage. And I thank you for playing that clip of U of I football in Mandarin Chinese. That particularly seems to really provoke people. And it should, by the way, it should. How is it possible that the most American of games, Big Ten college football, is broadcast in Mandarin Chinese? Because that's how big the student body is in Champaign, Illinois, in the middle of the cornfields, in the middle of the country. It's pretty outrageous, I think, to most sensible Americans. So I think this is how it starts. Let's get outraged. Let's be informed. You're right that so far, the power players in Washington, D.C. don't seem to have much interest in this issue or related issues. But that's the power of the people. We've got to expose it. We've got to shine a light on it. Hopefully we start to make progress here. I also think that these universities, unfortunately, they're so corrupted on so many levels. Of course, this is just part of the institutionalized systemic corruption of universities. But we need to realize that we're funding these schools. And by the way, it's not just the state schools. As a matter of fact, Sarah, the elite private schools actually get more taxpayer benefits than the state schools do. The number one recipient of taxpayer money is Harvard, is the richest school already in the United States, doesn't need our money, but they're dang good at getting it, at feeding at the trough of public taxpayer money. So even at these private schools, I believe, we have invested significantly as people, as taxpayers. We have every right, every obligation, I would argue, to make sure that these schools prioritize American citizens. Because at all these selective schools, there's at least a 25% international population there, at least. At some of them, like Columbia University in New York, Ivy League school, it's closer to half. That's outrageous on its face. Now, at least most of those kids are coming from friendly nations, from allies to the United States. I still think that number needs to come way down. It should be mandated at 1%, maybe 2%, where we're truly bringing in some geniuses from from around the world, but only from allied nations. Let's bring them from Canada and Mexico, not from the Chinese, not from China. That makes absolutely no sense. And to have this big a group coming on an annual basis from China, again, it's dangerous and it's totally unjust and unfair to young Americans. Young Americans really have it hard in a lot of ways right now. And think if you're a kid and you've taken all the APs, you crushed the tests, you worked very hard, you've got the extracurriculars, and then you can't get in. You can't get into a school that your mother and your grandfather went to before you, someplace like University of Illinois. And the reason you don't get in is because your spot is going to a coddled princeling of the CCP. That's outrageous to me. And I released this documentary at this time of year, by the way, very much on purpose, because a lot of the letters are coming out right now. As far as like early decision, this is sort of crunch time. So a lot of really excellent students who are trying for early admission to these very selective schools, they're getting disappointed right now. And so I thought this would be an opportune time, because I hope that there are people out there who maybe aren't all that political, who might not call themselves MAGA or right wing, but they do know that, wait, my son or daughter worked super hard and can't get in, or I'm going to have to pay more to go out of state, or we've got to go to our fourth choice school because the Chinese have taken these spots in these selective STEM programs. I hope that drives people, even if they're not necessarily fully on board with the whole America First agenda, to just think about the inequity of that and to think, why are we not prioritizing our own people? Why are we not taking care of American kids first? And if we do have room for some international, let's make it reasonable and contained and not from adversary nations.
Yeah, I actually, you did make me feel a little bit better, because you're absolutely right. It's going to we're going to eventually reach the point where everyone sees it, everyone feels the pain, and the politicians are going to have no choice but to fix the system, because the people will demand that as long as they keep seeing it happen right out in front of them. Part of that reason is because of your great work. So tell everyone where they can watch the documentary in its entirety.
Yes, thank you so much for your help in amplifying this. Go to CortesInvestigates.com, Cortez with an S at the end. It's absolutely free. We are not monetizing this. We want to win hearts and minds. We want to persuade people, including decision makers, but also regular citizens. CortesInvestigates.com. Thank you so much, Sarah.
Of course, you're welcome. See, you spell Cortez like I spell Gonzales with an S at the end. So
exactly.
It's easy for my viewers to remember. I appreciate all of your great work, and keep us posted.
Thank you.
Thank you. If you like this clip and you want to see the full episode, click here. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, come on, you know you do. Click here.